My name is Taylor Przinski, and I chose option number 3. In the film, The Fake News Teenager, it explains the story of how a young man from Macedonia learned the consequences of creating fake news stories and how it affected the U.S. democracy. So one of the effects that fake news stories have is that it misinforms the public about certain events or certain people. With this misinformation, it creates a sense of distrust between the public and the government. Misinformation is harmful to the democracy in 3 main ways. So the first way being that it undermines the credibility of the press as a watchdog. One of the main roles that media has is that it acts as a watchdog over both government and government officials. So when misinformation spreads, it limits the trust of the press as an overseer. And then the second way is that it limits the check on the power of the presidency. This means that the president is part of the executive branch, and there's also legislative and judicial branches, and they're all part of the checks and balance system. And this system is to ensure that not one branch has more control over the other. However, when misinformation spreads, it disrupts the checks and balances between them all. And then the third way is that it perverts the most essential constitutional principle of consent of the governed. This principle represents the idea that morality and authority of the government should be dependent on the consent of the people. Consent of the people can be described as like when people vote for elections and they choose who they want to win. However, this can be disrupted with misinformation because false news stories create a false memory. Therefore, some people can't really make an educated decision on who they really want to win for the election.